the attorney representing Trump in the Justice Department probe into the classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago, took highly detailed notes about their conversations. And sources tell CNN the notes include details about Trump's desire to push back, to fight the Justice Department effort through subpoena to recover those documents. Those notes, this is the important part, now in the hands of the special counsel. CNN's Caitlin Polentz is here to break that down for us. Their evidentiary value, I assume, is rather large.
Yeah, so John, you have a criminal investigation, and what is crucial in any criminal investigation is how good is your evidence. The evidence here appears to be very good. It is very detailed, to the point where members of the Trump team were surprised at how detailed these notes are. And these are notes that speak to exactly what the Justice Department wants to do as they investigate whether or not Donald Trump himself was trying to obstruct their investigation. So in May of 2022, he and his attorney received this subpoena saying, you got to give back all the classified records that you have in your possession, anything marked with a classification on it, give it back to the grand jury. And then these notes are Evan Corcoran's, his defense attorney, and they cover detailed conversations directly between Evan Corcoran, Donald Trump, the types of conversations that when the Justice Department sought these notes, when they went to court to fight to get access to them, they believed would show Donald Trump trying to commit a crime. And they have these notes now, and they are quite significant in the fact that they would be so detailed. And we also are getting a little snippet of what the substance of these notes are, and we can see that Donald Trump, or at least we're hearing from our sources, that Donald Trump was raising the possibility, do we have to comply with this subpoena? We don't know how that fits, but it certainly does factor into this obstruction investigation.
Well, Shan Wu is still with us. Help us understand where it might fit. And again, we have to be careful. But you have detailed notes from an attorney, a good attorney. And so if you're asking, you're telling your client, the former president, we have this subpoena. Right. This subpoena is valid. We have to comply with the subpoena. I assume the attorney's walking through this. If you get a response from the client saying, no, don't do it, what does that tell you?
Well, it tells you that the client doesn't want to comply with that subpoena, maybe trying to hide something. I think the critical aspect to me here, and we don't know this yet from the details, is whether or not this is evidence that Trump was basically admitting to his attorney, yeah, I know I have classified documents and I don't want to give them back. That would be a very helpful thing to the Justice Department. Now, Trump's defense to this is going to be, I'm just asking for legal advice. I mean, I want to know, can I push back on the subpoena or not? I will say one thing. It strikes me as a little bit unusual that Corcoran's notes are this detailed. When I was a prosecutor, prosecutors differ in their styles, but sometimes you don't want to take a whole lot of notes because you're always worried that somebody may try to get them to question, what kind of contemporaneous thoughts were going on there. So it's possible Corcoran was doing this as a little bit of a safety net for himself, knowing that this is a difficult client who's kind of volatile. He may have been really documenting his contemporaneous notes at the time. That level of detail reminds me more of an FBI's agent's notes than it does of an attorney's notes.
And also, at this moment, Corcoran is talking to his client, Donald Trump, about collecting documents at Mar-a-Lago. And when he hands over an envelope in June, which is the end of these notes the Justice Department got, he hands them an envelope. It has 38 documents with classified markings on it. And he tells the Justice Department at this point, we know this from court filings, that he believed there was no other classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. Obviously, there were hundreds of more. Right. And so the Justice Department is trying to figure out, well, who knew about that? And how did this happen if this attorney performed this search? Having detailed notes about what those conversations were between Evan Corcoran and Donald Trump perhaps could answer that question or bring them closer to an answer.
And Evan Corcoran, to wrap this up, has also been before the grand jury, correct?
Yes.
Right. So this gets interesting, fascinating, complicated.